What's up guys, Sagi here and welcome to another Tech Gear Talk. Today I'm going to give you my first impression of the iPhone XS. I'm going to start out by doing a straightforward unboxing just to show you what the packaging looks like and what is included with the phone. Basically, there are a whole bunch of things that you're never going to look at or read, but you do get those Apple stickers that people seem to like so much. Who knows, maybe I should do a giveaway. I love the sound this cellophane wrapping makes, and then you get the first and probably last look at a brand new clean iPhone. I'm upgrading from the iPhone 7 Plus and decided to go with the XS over the XS Max, which, let's get real, is the XS Plus. Inside the XS box, you get the earpods and the charger, but it's disappointing that there is no USB-C to Lightning fast charging option included, considering that the iPhone XS starts at $999. That means you'll need to spend another $70 in order to take advantage of this feature. Let me know in the comment section if you think Apple's being cheap by not including this, considering the price, or if you think it's fine. Apple also doesn't include a Lightning to headphone adapter. This isn't a big deal for me personally because I've been using the AirPods for years, but still would be nice to have. As usual, the setup process was super simple. Like I said, I've been using iPhones for years, and Apple clearly values the initial user experience with the iPhone. Let's take a look at the new wallpaper options. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you probably saw that I implemented the new 10R wallpapers on my workstation. Here's a quick preview of the exclusive XS and XS Max wallpapers, and you can see how well these hide the notch. As we predicted, since this is an S release, the notch is still the same size as on the original 10. Now, the XS uses the new A12 Bionic chip with Apple's next generation neural engine. There are dual rear-facing 12-megapixel cameras, a wide angle at f1.8, and a telephoto at f2.4. Of course, we have Face ID, which is enabled by the True Depth front-facing 7-megapixel camera. The XS shoots 4K video at 2430 and 60 frames per second, and you can do slow-mo video at up to 240 frames per second at 1080p or Full HD. The XS has a 5.8-inch display, and the XS Max Plus has a much larger 6.5-inch display. I'll release another video about my decision to go with the XS over the XS Max, so hit that subscribe and notification icons if you're interested. Going back, the XS features IP68 water and dust resistance rating, and has a 2,658 mAh battery, which is a little less than what I expected. And then finally, the XS comes with iOS 12 right out of the box. So let's see what all this new tech can do for us. If this isn't your first iPhone XS review, you've probably seen several benchmark tests looking at the various aspects of this new phone. The Geekbench CPU test shows a single-core score of 4813 with the XS, and to give you a point of reference, my 7 Plus got a single-core score of 3530. That's clearly a significant improvement over the iPhone 7 Plus. However, the CPU test only tells part of the story, so let's move on to the GPU test. Here you'll see that the XS scored 21,231 and crushes the 7 Plus, which scored 13,519. Now let's take a look at the Antutu benchmarks. The XS shines again with a score of 333,830 versus only 182,251 on the 7 Plus. So again, definitely a marked improvement. If you're an iPhone X user, you won't notice aesthetic differences between the two phones. The phones pretty much look identical. I suppose there's a technicality here because the XS is offered in gold, which wasn't available on the iPhone X. Coming from the 7 Plus, I was super excited about some of the features that I've been missing, the first being Face ID. Again, setup is super easy and fast, and I can't wait to start using it. I'm used to having to program my fingerprints into my 7 Plus, and I'm looking forward to this improved user experience. Next, I gotta admit, I had to go check out the Animoji, made so famous by one of the catchiest Apple commercials ever, and the new Memoji introduced with iOS 12. And finally, the camera. If you're someone who watches my channel, you know how much I love photography and video. So I was super excited to take the XS out and see what it can do. I'll publish a more detailed XS camera review and comparison later on, but my initial impression is that these images are noticeably better than the 7 Plus. I was actually really happy with my 7 Plus images until I got to XS. The new dual rear-facing 12-megapixel cameras are super impressive. I'm not even talking about the improved portrait lighting mode or depth of field slider. The images are just sharper, more detailed, and have better dynamic range. The new larger sensor on the XS and the redesigned wider angle lens allow the iPhone XS to gather more light and capture more detail, which is particularly noticeable in challenging low light situations. Here are some examples, and you can see that the XS is rendering natural color and a good bit of detail even at night. Moving on to the new portrait mode, the XS uses dual lenses along with the new 812 Bionic chip to generate a portrait map. This is essentially a 3D map of the image, which helps to separate the subject from the background. This is something that happens naturally on larger cameras, but smartphones have to artificially create this effect due to their smaller sensors and, well, physics. What's great about the XS is that you now have portrait mode with depth control, which lets you set the level of blur after you capture the image. Now, of course, the XS isn't actually changing the aperture after the image was taken. That would involve wizardry. It's simulating what the image would look like if it were taken at a different aperture. What's really nice is that the bokeh, or the quality of the out-of-focus areas of the photo, renders beautifully. Using the adjustable aperture feature, the background naturally blurs away. Also, notice that the lights in the background don't just get blurry, they actually get larger as we virtually open up the aperture, just like they would on a DSLR or mirrorless camera. This is an important aspect because with both the front and rear-facing camera, the iPhone does much more than simply blurring the background of the image. The image actually morphs and reacts in a way that's very organic to real-life aperture change. Now, I wanted to see what the front-facing camera can do. This is definitely where many phones struggle because these are lower-end cameras and components. But even in low light, the front-facing camera did a great job. And for everyone who tuned me out for the past 3 minutes or so, let me just say your pictures are just going to look better. End of story. Alright, this sums up my first impression of the iPhone XS. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up and then smash the subscribe and notification buttons. You can always find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Tech Gear Talk. And as you know what I always say, buy it nice or buy it twice. Good luck and see you soon.